Hello and welcome to the Nordic Takedown podcast. This is Fun Daddy, also known as Jason. I go by many names. I'm also here with, I'm so humble, Adam.
Hello.
Hello. And Jonah, the Norwegian with friends. We realise he has friends this weekend as well.
Yeah.
He brought a friend to Malmö. So yeah, the three of us are here in one room. Well, no, we're not in one room. We were in one room, but
three different
in
rooms,
one episode.
I would say.
Yeah, we're in three different rooms, but we were in the same room for the first time this weekend.
Yeah,
that was really fun.
Which was really cool. It was so cool to meet you guys. Like you were, Jonah, you were like dying.
Yeah, I'm just happy to hear that you haven't gotten sick yet.
Yeah, I'm really tired, but that's because I got back at midnight.
I've been almost floored, yesterday and today. I'm not sure why. I don't feel sick, but I guess it's just like all energy ran out.
There's a lot of energy.
What was it, 11 or something on Sunday?
I drank so much Coke Zero. They had sponsorship, so
all right. But Jason, what are we gonna talk about today?
That's a good point. I'm hosting. I should probably get on with this as well. Yeah, we got a bit of news. But then we're gonna be focusing on the Malmö Game Week tournament, the Star Wars Unlimited Open that we just had, that we streamed, that we kind of sponsored, partnered with as well. We could say as streaming partners. So that was a big step for us, something that we haven't done before. So really excited. So we're going to be focusing on that.
And maybe we're going to have some new listeners in, curious to hear about the meta or the Top Cut. So welcome if you're new. Hello.
Yes,
I of course
very much welcome. Yeah, we've got a little bit of news as well. Matthias, who was head judge of the weekend, he's going to be taking a little bit of a step back, but he's not disappearing from the podcast completely. He's got a lot of other. He's got his the judging, and he's also very busy with work. And so he's also worked in journalism as well, so he's also got to be very careful about other journalistic stuff that he does as well. So he's going to be stepping back and just being more of like a regular guest host coming back on, but which is really good that he still wants to do that, because the rules episode was actually one of our biggest listened episodes. Actually,
that was great.
So that's the new one. That's one piece of news. And those of you who watched the stream, another piece of news is that Victor, who helped us out with the commentary, he's going to be joining us for a few episodes as well. And I was just completely taken aback by his commentary skills.
That's great.
So he's going to be coming on there. You can tell the difference if those of you who watch both streams, you can very much tell the difference between the commentary on the last few games on day one, where I was reacting to what was happening and trying to tell everyone what they've just seen, to Victor telling people what they're about to see and being 80% right. So so we're quite excited to have kind of him going to be joining us for a few episodes through the months there as well. So that's our news. But what I want to know, guys, is how did you get on in Malmö Game Week personally?
Good in general.
And that silence there.
Mostly good. Should we just dive right into the whole runs and stuff?
Let's just dive into how we're doing, then we can
maybe what did you play, how did Swiss go, and how did Top Cut go?
Sure. Should I start, or do you want to start, Jason, because you're shorter?
Ouch! I felt that was a burn that I felt from like how many miles away. Okay, I'll go first. Because I streamed 3 games of the Swiss one, I decided with the fun we were having with setting up the stream that I wanted to just stream and stuff for a bit as well. So I thought as soon as I am out and I can't make day 2, I will drop and stream and focus on the stream. So I went 1-3 for the day. The first game was was just nothing for me. It was 0-2, and it was against Kira ACL that Kira Green that 0-2'd. It wasn't even that long a game for 2 control matchups. I played Han Blue, by the way. I guess I should say that. So I had a Han Blue, which I was not prepared to play. So that was another reason. And by the third game, I was going really well, and I was really confident with the deck. But I'll get on to what happened with that one in a second. So the guy who beat me there, he made top 16. My second game was against a Palpatine Green. Someone who also made 12 cup. I feel like I was just lifting other people up as they were beating me, and that one I felt like it was. I felt like I could have won in a way, because I think it was a 1-2, and in the third game I was in control until I didn't take out one of his units before putting down my Poe when Palpatine was ready to come out. And so he damaged his unit, took my Palpatine, took my Poe, and then my response to that was I think I didn't have much response, but then he put down a Devastator, and it was basically game over.
Yeah.
So then I also played against Vader Blue, and I got decked out for the first time in Constructed, which was very interesting because I was really I had to check the rules of, do you lose 3 points for every card or for every time you have to draw, and so that was a 2-0 win, and we were just about to get on to go into time, so we just about finished that game. But I did about 50 damage to the base. So it was a Vader Blue. I did 50 damage to base, and he just kept on healing up, taking care of everything I did, everything I put out. And I got him to 29 health, and he was just healing up and nothing. And then I was like, I've got to have an answer here. Let's just check see if I got a smuggle. Oh, there's an Andor. And so I had enough resources to smuggle in Andor after he called initiative, and I could take the win that way as well. So that was a really kind of control matchup that I liked. And then I think my game 4 was a I can't even remember what my game 4 was now, but it didn't go well. So okay. So that was my that was another Kira ECL, and again that was a 2-0, and it was just not a good matchup for Han. Especially the way I was playing Han as well. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing at that level, the competitive level, because this was the first competition that we played at this level, right? And the judge team, they were understaffed, of course, but they did the best job that they could do. I think they did a great job, but they did as much as they possibly can. So even though it wasn't a official organised play tournament, they treated it as if it was. So people got penalties, people got warnings, etc., as if it was, and so it kind of prepared us for when we get to the
big PQs.
As well. So that was a very good experience for that as well. So that was kind of my experience of the playing, and then I went to stream, and you guys can see what happened next there. So that took up about 5 minutes of your time. You guys who actually played well, what happened?
So I can go next, since you throwed it to me before. Let's start with the preparations were really good for me into this tournament. We were 4 weeks in. I was on a completely different deck. Then I was fumbling until I realized it was gonna be. There is Kira, Boba, and Sabine. That is the top decks, and I thought there was gonna be less Boba than it was, to be honest. So I was quite convinced that Sabine was gonna be the best deck to bring. So I just grinded it down and played a lot against Jonah, a lot against other people. Played like from at 1.5 weeks before the tournament. I like played like 150 Carabas games with like almost 80% win rate, and like as soon as I had like put down my main deck. So I was quite confident. Then of course I got a little bit more scared when I saw there was so many Bobas running around. I was sitting next to them all tournament, but never faced them. So Sabine became like...
You skipped all the Bobas?
All Bobas. I didn't face a single one.
That's impressive.
But on the other hand, I got some Sabine mirrors. So game 1, Sabine mirror. I think I just was more experienced in the matchup. I also got to go first 2 of 3 games. No, actually 1 of 2 because I won 2-0. Moved into Kira ECL, which in my opinion is like a very good matchup for Sabine. Since I nailed my deck and started playing, I haven't lost a single game to Kira. So I 2-0'd him. Got the down paired somehow. Like obviously my first opponent lost, I assume. Got to face Leia. Leia red.
There was the Leia red there. Oh wow.
Yeah. No, sorry, not Leia. Yeah, Leia red, because Leia is green, right? Yeah, red.
Yes,
he didn't play with Tarkin Town, which I didn't realize actually until end of game 2. I was playing around that all the time. And like in game 2, actually, I just hit him with a Darksaber up to 27 damage, and I was like, and he was starting to make next moves, and I was like, what? You have lost? And he's like, no, I'm not playing it. And I was like, okay, yep. So for game 3, I played around it and actually punished him for not having it. So so I skipped over that one. So I was 3-0 quite early. Moved into, I think it was another Sabine mirror, which I also I 2-0'd. So I was like 4-0 or something. Then 4-0. Then I played the Palp Green that you faced actually.
Yeah.
He actually faced you and my brother. He had just lost to André, my brother, in game 1. That's why he came down to beat you. So kind of a tough schedule for you to have 2 of the top cuts in your first 2 games.
That's why it went so bad for me.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was game 5 or 6. I faced Jonah somewhere in between there. That was my one Swiss loss.
Yeah, I was gonna say what happened in that game. That was a.
It was. Yeah. Jonah.
I think you didn't drew that many records, right? Or...
No, that was one part of it. I think also you have taken your deck like crazy against Sabine and played that matchup quite a lot. Like. You are the only one that I really lose to with that deck. I'm smashing every other blue Han. In preparations.
Mine is a little bit different.
Yeah. And you had some new stuff actually from like when we scrimmed. You had like added in base Malbus and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Which I'm not sure myself if he made that big of a difference in the matchup, but still there was like some new stuff. But basically it was a 1-1 after 2 games, quite closely fought. Game 3 I just couldn't push damage enough. I think that was the game I actually didn't draw records and pose, even though I had timely interventions. And like in my head, like we were at a little bit. I'm gonna have excuse myself a little bit because there was some judge callings in the table next to us. I kind of lost some focus, and somehow I started to think that Jonah had a 25 HP base as well, so I thought I was closer than I was. But game 3 was actually quite dead in a long time, so in my brain it was more competitive, but it was actually quite
it makes a huge difference knowing what you're playing to, what base you're playing to as well. One in the store showdown, I did it against Vader. Playing all 25 bases the whole time, and then I heroic sacrificed K2SO in to get into 25.
Haven't you learned this yet? Reading the card explains the card.
No, I know, and reading the numbers on the card really helps as well. But knowing what you're playing to, when you realise that you're playing to the wrong number, man, it really affects your game plan. Yeah.
Then last
what
round,
happened? Yeah.
I actually played Bosk, which was one of the funnier decks to make it to the top cut.
Yeah.
It's a solid matchup for Sabine. He also didn't draw a 2-drop in any of his games, so that was quite.
Yeah, and they played ECL, right? That's not as good.
They played ECL and actually only 6 bounties. The two people that made to the same deck. It was Caleb and I can't remember his name, but he made the top cut.
But didn't Caleb play the red one?
Caleb, I think Caleb would have played a double. I think double red is the normal.
No, he played green.
He played green as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure. Don't quote me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had the same deck because they were talking about it.
Okay. Yeah.
But either way, so that was super easy because of that. So I don't know the strength there, but I had not had problems practicing against Bosk either.
No.
So it was 6-1. I ended third in Swiss, behind the Cad Blue and the Boba Green that went 7-0.
Yeah.
And 3 of my Swiss opponents made the top cut: the Palpatine, Yona, and the Bosk. Actually 4. It was Sabine. One of the Sabine mirrors also made it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So 4 of the 7. So it was not easy people, but it was good matchups for my deck. So it was there was no Bobas there. But in the top cut, I got to face Han Green, which was one of the old Han Green, which was one of the more unconventional decks to make the cut, I would say. Was Edwin from Stockholm who played that. He has played it a lot last set as well. I think he played it in other tournaments I've been to. Was a 2-0. He made a play mistake in I think game 1 or game 2 with Spark of Rebellion in the wrong card, which made him lose the game. But it was a very interesting deck, actually, I would say, that had some tricks to actually beat control, I would say, which is the new Snoke, which is a problem for that deck. So that was interesting. Then I played a quarterfinal. I got another Sabine mirror, third of my experience, we would say, or 4 if you count Leia, because it was such a similar deck build. So this one was on stream, so if anyone wants to see it, Jason and Victor commentated it. It was actually, I would say, I looked back at it, it's a pretty well played game series by both players. I immediately started with losing the initiative roll, which makes me lose 20% win rate in that matchup. I lost game 1, won game 2. I think I won game 2 a little bit easier than he won game 1, so I put up more of a fight. Game 3 was actually so close. I made good use of timely intervention. I baited out, I put so much pressure that he needed to take my board. I calculated my win conditions, and I was at 15 damage, and I tried to made it no, not 15, sorry, I was at 18. I had made him take 18 damage, and I was at 10 or something. Made sure that I could claim and get 3 damage in, and if I drew a 4 course I believe in, I will win the game if I hit 4 damage on it, because that was my one way out, because he had way more board control at that point, because he started with a wing leader and I only had fleet lieutenant, and wing leader is the best card in my opinion in the matchup. So I managed to play around that, kill that buffed unit. He didn't strike base a single time with a 5/5, that he created from the start. But since this was my last game, I missed 4 calls. It was 3 hits first, and on the 4th it was Darksaber.
Yeah.
And he had like, I knew I had lost there, even though I could have pinged for the 25 because he had not put enough damage on me yet to make me die on next attack. But like he had not discarded with the Poe, so I knew he had like either Heroic Sacrifice or Rebel Assault, or if he's either way he was. Otherwise he would just have been bad. Like and he wasn't. He just Rebel Assault me afterwards and nuked me. So that was my journey top 8. At least I got the Spark of the Rebellion box, and it was a pretty sick box.
Yeah, you kind of got a good
6
good
legendaries. One of them were hyperfoiled. So one hyperspace Luke
crazy.
and Vader was in there as well. So it was a good value price anyway. I'd say that for getting technically 7. I guess we looked at the standings. So I did not face a lot of different stuff. Like I had like mirrors and good matchups all week. So I guess I brought the right deck. Just was unlucky in the wrong time.
Just a little bit of RNG. Yeah. Because normally you're happy to see a Darksaber, right?
Yeah. Not that late though. I had actually removed one. It's just because it's not. Yeah. Like he probably have added Fang Fighters. It was actually just stupid of me to keep one extra. Like I knew like that one sometimes tilts the matchups, and I had to risk it a little bit in game 3 when I go second. But that one bite me in the ass. It was that and 3 Fang Fighters left. I'm not sure the statistics of how, but the next 8 cards were all heroic. So when I looked after, that was kind of sad. But yeah. So no semi-final for me. But how did you do, Jonah?
Yeah, Jonah.
I was also going back and forth in the prep what deck to bring. I was leaning towards Sabine for a long time, but then around like the 17th maybe of August, like 2 weeks before, I started playing Han Blue. Really loved the way it felt like okay, you're just playing huge bombs every turn and really getting a lot of 2-for-1s. But the issue was Sabine matchup, so that's basically my focus for those 2 weeks of prepping, just playing against Sabine, and I ended up with something where I felt more comfortable with that Han list into Sabine than I did in the Sabine mirror. And then I thought, okay, then I'm just gonna bring this list. So I played 2 Sabines in Swiss, won both of those games, but I played 1 Sabine Red, which I had not prepared for at all. And Tarkin Town was so devastating. Like, everything I would like to play early is damage, right? So it just... That meant that I had no way of getting control of the board before maybe Luke arrives with a 2-for-1. So I just got smashed 2-0. That was my first loss, and then in the last game, which was played on stream, I lost against Krennic. Got a pretty solid game 1, but then both game 2 and 3 he got ramp into Gideon, I think, which just gave him a great board, which I couldn't really take back with my draws. But either way, I finished 5-2 in Swiss, so 7th, I think. And then as Jason mentioned, I was not feeling good. I was or still am quite sick, so it was very exhausting. But we, after waiting some time at the restaurant, we got some food and this night's sleep. And on Sunday I met another Sabine player, so a third one, really nice Dane. But I think he had stayed up a little later than Adam and I, so he got smashed by me, and I felt like, okay, I'm riding the wave, I know how to play this matchup now, but you'll hear later it came to bite me in the ass. But so I won top 16, top 8 game. I was super lucky to face Steve-O, a super nice Dane, one of 2 who brought the Cad Bane blue deck, which got a lot of attention on stream.
Yeah,
and
very nice deck.
We've spoken to him about having him as a guest, either just a podcast or maybe we could make like even a video deck tech with him.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see that list, and it's something that I never played against. So going into the matchup, I just thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna play this as a control mirror, like I would play against, let's say, a Kira green. So really focusing on the big threats and trying to attack the hand as well with K2s and pillages. And first game, I got just out curved. He got a great board. Could not. No. Sorry. Yeah. I don't really remember the details, but I won the first game, lost the second, and the third game we basically knew we would not have time to finish it. So then when K2 was defeated, I picked damage and not discard, to say it that way, because it was going to be decided on base damage. And luckily for me, he had the least remaining HP, so I won that game to time. And then in the semifinals, I met not Adam, but another Adam, the guy who ended up winning.
The one that knocked me out, yeah.
And it was a Sabine Green. I felt super comfortable. Game 1 just went as exactly as planned and very smooth. And the second game looked so great as well. I got a great start, survived for a very long time. But then suddenly things started slipping. He just made so many threats. And then in the end he had a U-wing that I just couldn't handle. Two or three four causes in that game, and it slipped away. And then the third game, sadly, I did not get good draws, so just got steamrolled. And that meant I was knocked out, but I got asked if I want to play a bronze final. So I got to play another nice Dane, Mike. He played a Bobo Yellow. I think he might have been 6-1 from Swiss. I don't remember, but
no, he was 5-2. I think it was.
Yeah.
Only me, Krennic, and and your other opponent. What's Steve, right? No.
Yeah.
We're 6-1s. So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I got to play Mike. Bobo Yellow is a matchup that's, I would say, pretty good for Han too. But the first game he got a great start and I didn't, so I lost. Game 2 went as you would want for me, and then the third game was mega intense because we had like 8 minutes or 10 remaining, so it was very stressful. And then we got to a crazy board state where I felt comfortable because I had just dropped Redemption, and Redemption is like the best card against Boba Fett because you can heal 8 and you can still trade with the Fett's Fire Spray, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But then we were on 8 resources, Mike starting off with the Change of Heart. So now he has 11 damage in space. He swings in and I'm like, okay, what am I doing here? I look at my base and I have 8 damage, so I know I'm gonna go up to 19. Okay, I'm thinking that's enough breathing room. I'm just gonna use Han, slam the Crate Dragon, right? So here I am spending all my resources. He attacks in, and then he plays a new adventure. Rebouncing his Fett's Fire Spray, attacking in for another 5, putting me to 24 damage on my base.
Oh, no.
And I'm like starting to sweat. Oh no, we're gonna go to time. I had like not that much damage on his base. But then we made it to the next round. And then time was called. So we had that one and the next action phase. And because of Crate Dragon, just like basically killing him if he would play any card, I had the game because the redemption, of course, came back to my side, and I had the Obi-Wan on ground, so I had Sentinels in both arenas, only 6 damage remaining on my base, but a Crate Dragon just locked out the game, and I won that. So in total,
that's why I hyped the Crate Dragon so much.
Yeah,
there we go. So useful.
But you already made third place anyway, because they weren't going to do a bronze match. They were.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Jonah, you were real nice to do the bronze match.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
that's really cool.
It just happened real fast. Suddenly we were sitting there playing.
Might as well.
Since I won, it was good. If I wouldn't have, then I would have been sad. But
that's like not everyone that takes their third place is like, we can play for it.
Yeah. So basically, both of you, it was the streaming that ruined your day because both of you lost on the stream.
Yeah, I'm usually doing great in stream, but since I started playing Unlimited, it's gotten a bit worse.
I would say it was my health that made me misplay, maybe.
Okay, that's okay then, yeah.
But I actually played great on stream. I just had bad luck. I'm not blaming the stream. I blame RNG.
And you both got beaten by the winner.
Yeah.
Who was a guy called Adam, a Swede. I mean, first of all, the winner was a guy called Adam playing Sabine Green ECL, and he has been playing Star Wars Unlimited for 4 weeks.
Correct. But he told me he had played Magic before.
Yeah, he has played a lot of Magic. He's a very good card game player. He'd been playing the starter decks for a little bit longer because he kind of works on a boat. But actually seriously sitting down with decks and stuff like that, taking it seriously for like 4 weeks. And
that's what he told you. Yeah.
I mean, he told us.
4 weeks is 4 months. Right?
We did a little interview on the stream. Yeah. So he'd been playing for 4 weeks, and so we should. Well, like you said, you already said he made some misplays and stuff like that, but he was still able to take it through. And everyone lost to a noob, but the best thing was a Swede won.
Because it was Sweden versus Denmark in the finals.
And then Norway came up third.
And we should mention that the Sabine Red I lost to in Swiss is the guy who got second place.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Very impressive. I've actually faced him in Denmark when I was there winning the store showdown. He was on Sabine Red at that time as well in set 1.
Yeah.
I think
that's his deck.
Yeah, most likely some upgrades, of course, in set 2 that made it push it like this.
Darksaber.
Wrecker.
Darksaber, of course. Yeah, Wrecker stuff.
He put Darksaber in, he put Wrecker, must put Wrecker in, and stuff like that. Yeah, but like the final was against a non-meta deck, really. I mean, yes, Sabine, but a non-meta. Sabine Red wasn't meta.
That's true.
And a player who's been playing seriously for 4 weeks as well.
It's
something I love about the game.
You're making it sound like Nordic players are trash.
but that's the thing, that they're not trash, but it's just one of those games that is, it's not decided just because you have a good deck and you're a good player. It's not decided that you're going to win by turning up to a big tournament like this.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say,
I think it's good for the game.
Yeah. It is. Like, it's always going to be the nature of card games that not necessarily the best player is going to win.
Yeah.
But I would say that Stars Unlimited has so much skill expression. Like, I think it's really cool that you can have matchups where both players can think, okay, this matchup is so comfortable for me, it's favored for me. And that might be just because they're a good player and they know the matchup, right? Yeah. You have a lot of cases where, like, piloting and some tweaks to the deck can turn things upside down.
Yeah,
so that's something really cool.
I haven't played too many games with sideboard before, but I feel like sideboarding in Unlimited is so huge. Like, maybe not for just Sabine in general. Sabine was not that big, I would say, but in all other decks I've been playing, like Boba Green before and stuff like that, the sideboard actually makes monster difference. Like, can tilt matchups real hard.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was. I mean, we talked. Victor and I talked a little bit about that on the stream with sideboarding, but one of the really big elements. I don't know if you felt this weekend or something, but one of the big elements of this game that's so important is resourcing. Like how to resource in the moment and with what's going on and what you pick up and what your game plan is as well. It's such a simple yet difficult to master element of this game.
Yeah, I think it's
and I don't know where to start with that. I think that's one of where I downfall as a player is because I have no idea
what I resource. It's probably what separates the good from great. Like
yeah, I think so. I think it really does. I think it's something we should look into on the podcast and try.
Yeah, and like resourcing and sequencing is like the name of the game. Like resourcing is the new thing. Sequencing is like a little bit like the Star Wars Destiny days, because you're actually just doing one thing and then the opponent does one thing. So you have to predict what the opponents want to do the next 3 moves or something like that, depending on which round, and make sure that you can which actions are most important or which line you want to make yours if you have to pass or stuff like that. In combination with then the resourcing well, because you can actually just straight up lose the game from both sequencing wrong or resourcing the wrong card if you do it too greedily in the beginning.
Yeah, so, definitely. Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's something I want to be better at that, because I think that will improve my gameplay at least.
That is one of the things that you need to really play your deck a lot to realize when am I gonna use this card. It's like, I would say that Unlimited is like one of the games I feel like you have to play the most to understand your deck. Like in other games you can theory craft it and have a pretty good understanding. Here,
interesting,
it's really hard to actually know, I would say, why things doesn't work. I have to get punished, because this game punishes you so hard, and you don't understand it until you actually been punished sometimes.
And that's also very matchup dependent.
Yes,
you could have a deck where you put in some 2-drops that you think, oh, these are great, I always want to see these in my opening hand, but that can very much differ from matchup to matchup. But guys, I've been looking a little bit at the statistics.
Yes, indeed. You've done a lot of work already, and we're not going to go too deep into these statistics just yet. We are 2 days back from Malmö. Jonah's half dead and stuff, but these are the base statistics. I think we're going to look into this a lot more in the coming weeks too.
But
take us through the meta. Yeah,
because one thing that I think is also really cool to see, Adam, for instance, mentioned Sabine, Bobby Yellow, and Kira being 3 staples you often look at in the current meta. But we actually had 36 different leader and base combinations.
36.
That's quite
out of 76 as well. So that's
76 players.
Yeah, I think
that's pretty cool. The most represented leader was Sabine, with 11 players, 10 on ECL and 1 on Tarkin Town. After that, I believe we had 8 Boba decks. 6 Boba Yellow, 2 Boba ECL.
Which both made the top cut, the ECLs.
Yeah. Maybe we should give that decks a little bit more attention.
Maybe.
But Kiras, we had 8 Kiras also. Only one of those 8 played a 30 health base.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I think that's because most people follow Wu's deck, and makes he made a great deck at the time and has not really considered the implications of running 25 over 30. I think 30 is better into Boba, into Sabine, but it's worse in the mirror. So maybe they predicted a lot more Kiras as well and felt hey, I cannot go 30 HP because then I'm just gonna lose the mirrors. I'm not sure.
True. But I guess maybe the not that surprising, but a little bit surprising, is that we had actually 8 blue Hans.
Yeah, 12,
So
13
that
blue
means-
Hans. 13 Han 2, right? Total.
Yes.
So the most popular leader, right?
Yeah, you're right. The most represented leader is actually the new Han, because we had 4 Han 2 with ECL and 1 Han 2 red actually,
Yeah.
and then so that's very interesting. Like the
A lot of talk about Sabine and Boba, but Han 2 takes that prize at least.
And I think Han might be my... I mean, it's quite obvious. I played deck, so you're not gonna be surprised to say it's when I say it might be the best leader from Shadows of the Galaxy. But I
think that is...
he's here to stay.
He's absolutely here to stay. He cheats with resources like Han 1 and Boba Fett. He's gonna stay. Yeah.
I mean, it's just sticking on the curve. You can get Great Dragon out on turn 7. Earlier you can get everything out. If you don't mind it losing it because of with takedown.
And then before we talk about the top cut, do you guys have any like decks you found interesting that you saw, except for the Cad Bane Blue, of course, which I've mentioned?
I think
I think the I found the Sabine Red very interesting. And it's something I want to try out myself. I am very interested. I didn't see it, but I'm now very interested to see what Leia looks like now in set 2. Now that she's aged a bit. But I think the the Cad Bane Blue was the one that I was most interested to see, and I thought was very 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 good and fun to watch.
What about you, Adam?
I think I was like impressed about like the Han Green. There was actually only 3 Han 1 in the whole tournament. Only 1 Han 1 yellow, for example, which has been pretty popular. I think I was suspecting that it was going to be low, but to see that Han 1 green could make the top cut, makes me think that there is definitely like a way to make that work. Because what I realized when I tried it out myself, and also when I faced it, is that Fennec Shand is so good for that deck. Because the one way that other control decks locks that deck down completely is Snoke. But Fennec Shand, if you just make sure you have like 6 different cards in the graveyard, she just hits him for 6 when she comes out ambushed and stays
6
alive.
6 different costs.
Oh yeah, 6 different costs, sorry. But even if it's only 4, she still kills it and trade. So if you just needs to get out and get him off, you can do that. So that was actually like because I've also always considered her just being a worse Han Solo, but like that was actually like
it's
the most
use case. And maybe she can be really good into Kira as well, because she can take out a shield and then hit for 4.
Exactly, yeah. I think she has definitely some places to go in decks, like especially in Han 1, of course, because he can manipulate the graveyard a bit. And like so that's that was the one that actually like stood out the most, because I was surprised to see it make it.
One thing that is just I literally just noticed here was that only 2 Ray decks. Considering that it was one thing I was considering, it was one thing you were considering, Jonah. Jonah. Blimey, I've been talking a lot of Swedish today. But the Ray Tarkin Town was one that I nearly took, and there was only one other one of them as well. So that's interesting that how many of those Han Blues would have been a Ray?
But I think they kind of made the right call. I think Han has some strengths over Ray in the current meta, but maybe she will get more support in the next set.
Yeah, hopefully.
But let's take a little look at the top cut, because I always find it interesting to see like now we know a little bit about the distribution of decks, but did that distribution kind of stay in the top cut or not? So for instance,
one thing you can comment that actually. I feel like we said that both Han 2 was like the most played deck in the tournament, but only 2 actually made it to the top cut.
Yeah. That's I would like to pat my back a little bit and say that out of the 8 Han Blues, I was the only one who made it. Yeah. And I think it might have been because of the changes I made. So one thing that all of the Han Blue players played are 3 A-Wings and 3 Sabines. Yeah. Right? Yep. Staple 2-cost plays, but I played 0 of them.
Yeah, and I think that's the right choice. You're not an aggro deck. I don't see why you need those.
And I think they're bad because Sabine can turn 1 ECL, kill them, and have a unit stick. Like that's the reasoning. But there are strengths to those cards. Like the A-Wing is good against Kira, just being able to push damage, and Sabine is of course great into Boba, being able to kill Greedo and Crafty Smuggler. But I think that's at least something interesting to think about those cards. Yeah. So only 1 Han Blue, and then you mentioned Adam. We had both Boba ECLs in Top Cut.
Yep.
And maybe the biggest surprise of Malmö was the Cad Bane Blue. So 2 Danes showing up with a deck we've never heard of, and both made Top Cut.
Yep.
So 100% Top Cut.
On Cad Bane Blue and Boba Green. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was pretty cool indeed. Like obviously, like everyone has been on Boba Yellow for a while. We've seen Boba Green pop up a little bit now, this week especially. But Cad Bane Blue was really surprising in a way, because like nobody has really been talking about Cad Bane at all lately, like except like being good in draft. So it's gonna be interesting to see if that is a deck that sticks around, or if it is like as it was for you, Jonah, that you thought it was a deck and you played differently because you thought it did something, and now when everyone is gonna know what it's gonna do, it's gonna be easier to play against.
Like it's interesting to see a deck kind of combine the tempo aspects of yellow and then the control aspects of blue. So it's interesting. Okay, but I don't know if we have more to say about the Top Cut. Should we maybe just read through the 16 so people?
Yeah, we could also say there was only 1 Kira of the 8 Kiras that made it, which is Kira is not doing so hot actually in the tournaments lately, like in general. Even though if she wins, sometimes like the win rate for the Kira is not being great.
But that was I think that Kira ECL, that was the one that I lost to. He played that very well. That was Jeff. I know his name was Jeff.
That's true.
I met him in Swiss, actually. A really nice guy.
So,
but let's run through the top 16 or top 8. Are we going through top 8 or top 16?
We can do the top 16. Should I just read from 1 to 16?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
All right. So we had Sabine ECL, Sabine Tarkentown, Han 2 Blue, Boba Yellow, Boba ECL, Cad Bane Blue, Sabine ECL, and then on 8th Bosk ECL. So also cool to see Bosk there. And then for the 9 to 16 we had Krennic ECL, Han 2 ECL, Boba ECL, Palpatine Green, Cad Bane Blue, Sabine ECL, Kira ECL, and a Han Green from set 1.
And this is the order after like playoff has been played, so there was not the Swiss order coming in. If someone of these players are listening and thinking, hey, I was better than that guy in Swiss and we both lost first round, so that's
and if you guys are interested in seeing like the whole stats of the decks and top 16, we are going to post it on the Discord, or maybe make a graphic or something to show it. All right.
I think that is like all for the Malmö Game Week stuff, except like maybe some final thoughts, how you all thought it went. Like what would like, let's say, what was the best thing, Jonah, and everyone can go, and like something that could have been improved, like.
Yeah. For me, it was just amazing being at a like such a big event for this game, and I could really hype myself up for the future, for future events. Like hopefully there will be SWU Open next year as well. So for me, just the vibe, talking to a lot of people, exchanging contacts, like it was a great time. So that's something I would highlight, just the fun aspect of being there. But of course, maybe I should plan it better next time and not spend 30 hours on the train when I'm sick. But it was worth it.
You did well. I'm glad it was worth it.
How about you, Jason?
I for me, I love the whole experience. Like I took a whole load of equipment down there to stream, and I was met with a whole load of other equipment, and so the organisation was really, really good, and especially for not knowing what we were going to get when we actually got there. So my experience was actually very good. The experience of sitting down and playing this as well. I thought the judge staff, there was no official judge support from Asmodee. They weren't there yet to get that, which hopefully that could be something for the future, because I know it went really, really well this time, but I know that's something that next time they need to do that, because it was Matthias and Alexander, and they had another helper judge running around. Nicholas. So Nicholas, that's right, Nicholas, who was also helping everything else and providing me with Coke Zero for the weekend. So which I'm very, very grateful for. So I think they did a great job, but I think it could be improved just by putting a little bit more effort into. No, okay, that's not fair to say, but a little bit more planning into next year, learning from what happened this year. But again, this is the first Star Wars Unlimited tournament in Sweden. This is the first Star Wars Unlimited tournament that any of us have been involved in, including
of this
the
magnitude,
tournament organizer, and this magnitude of us. So I think it went very well for the first, with so many surprises that came up, and I think everyone did an absolutely fantastic job. I had a fantastic weekend as well. And I even got to play some draft on the same day with an amazing give into your anger. What was it? Yeah, is it give into your anger?
No.
That card.
Oh, give into your anger. Yeah,
give into your anger.
I heard give into your anger.
I know we're trying to close this out, but I played draft. I went 0-3, and I didn't care because I managed to. I was playing Bosk. I put 2 death marks on 2 different units, and I used give into, and they were sentineled, and I used give into your anger to get one of those death marks to force its way into killing itself into my Bosk. Nice. I drew 8 cards over 2 turns, plus the 2 from in between the turns. I had more cards in my hand than both my deck and my resources. It was an amazing moment to be in. I was playing against Matthias Nostromo, and we were both like going, okay, this is going to be one of the highlights of the weekend, just this whole game state. I lost and I don't care, because that's what I had to say that this episode. I've been bursting to say this whole episode, but it's stuff like that, and just meeting the people, meeting so many people, people kind of buying the playmats. Like we have 5 left as well, so a really good response on that, really good, like people verbally supporting us with the podcast. That was really, really good to see. So it was it was one of the best gaming weekends I've had for a while.
And then closing words, Adam.
Yeah, I can close out and echoing what you are saying. You guys have been saying it was an amazing weekend with mostly because of meeting people. Of course, playing the game is and winning as you and me, Jonah, did. That's reaching the quarters was pretty okay for me. I'm not leaving hella disappointed, even though it was heartbreaking the way. But I think it was actually fairly smoothly run. Of course, we should probably have planned like that the rounds is gonna take more than 1 hour, like 55 minutes with tiebreakers and yada yada. So maybe like have a less optimistic schedule next time. Could be one thing. And something else was really great was like how big the interest was for the best of the rest tournament. Like 40 people wanted to sign up for the day 2. I think that is like something, if it's done again, we should definitely do, and like put maybe even more effort into to make sure that that's gonna be run very smoothly next time. So that was great. So yeah, mostly amazing. Maybe take a little bit more careful look about the prize support before announcing it. Like it worked out well for me since I got a more valued box than Jonah, who ended 34th. But like that's small details, and I am like partially responsible for that because I didn't didn't tell in time. Yeah, but that's small details. The gaming experience was great. Like all the Danes, the few Norwegians. There was also people from Estonia there. I think someone said it was a Hungary guy as well. I'm not sure. So it's great to see, and like I hope there's going to be like even more nationalities joining up next year.
I think is it called Star Wars Fleet or something like that on Instagram. He was there. So I chatted to him for a bit.
That was hype.
I made his Instagram feed, so I was happy.
That was hype.
So yeah, but Matthias and Alexander and Nicholas, fantastic job again with the judging.
Thanks.
Really, really, really good job from them making it. And Marcus, he was
Marcus and Samir for like organizing it all, and everyone who actually was involved. Matthias Neuström, as you said, Matthias Beck was also really involved in the beginning stages, making it possible for us to join in as well. He's the one to thanks for that. So yeah, I know it's got
and like Player Tech, obviously they sponsored them. We sponsored the whole event, and as well as is it Spelutshus and Malmö Quarterspelsförening, which actually made the event happen. That we could do is so much big that without official support. So pat on the back for everyone involved.
So I guess that is it for the Malmö Game Week, right? Or
that's it for
that's it for this week at least, and I think we can go on and talk about some of the decks and everything as well. But we're going into Store Showdown season as well. So there's going to be a lot of good content. Where are you going to Sunday?
Göteborg.
Very nice.
Most likely, it's not completely announced, but it's supposed to happen at least.
Great, excellent. Let's finish up, and we will see you all next week. And
looking forward to it. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you all.